Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. You know, it shows up as a question in my comments section on a regular basis. People want to know, how do I know if I'm actually ready to put myself out there to be dating? Am I in the right space or the right place to start that? For some people, it's like I've been so long since I dated, and other people are like, I just got out of something. How do I know if I'm ready? And I always say, I'm sure I have an episode about that somewhere. I'm pretty certain I do, but when I've gone to look to help them out and give them a link, I can't find it. So I'm sure it's there. Maybe I named it something goofy. But today I figured I would just address this head on and from the perspective of where my mind was at when the last person asked me. So I have how many things? Five things that I think you should probably ask yourself or keep in mind to help yourself determine whether or not you are ready to put yourself out there in the dating world and meet people with the intentions of perhaps being in a serious long-term or committed relationship. If you're new here, I'm Carey. I am a matchmaker, a dating coach, and I have this channel here. It's all things dating and relating. I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Number one, you know that phrase, be the change that you want to see in the world? I think that you should work to be the person that you want to date. So for instance, if you're always telling your friends or family, I'm looking to find somebody who gives their time to children or charities, somebody ambitious, or somebody who prioritizes a work-life balance, but then you're a person who is a workaholic, never makes time for yourself or to help anybody except yourself into bed at the end of an exhausting day, or any of the other qualities that you admire in another person, I think we should probably work to attain those things. So maybe I was thinking that one way to look at this is that if there were an opposite gender version of you that came into your life, would you think, fantastic, I want to date this person? Or would there be things about them that you were dissatisfied with or disappointed or that you'd want to change? That might be an interesting way to kind of look at it and ask yourself if you are the kind of person that you're hoping comes and walks into your life. And if you're totally in a great spot and you're cool with you, then that's one thing that would lead me to believe that you're in a good place to be dating. Number two, you want a relationship, but you don't need a relationship. Meaning you've created for yourself a life that you're very satisfied with. You go to a job that you enjoy, you have family relationships and friends, you're able to make time to prioritize things that you enjoy doing outside of work and family. You've just created this fantastic place that you're very satisfied. You don't feel like somebody needs to come in and rescue you or fill half of your cup, that you're already a full cup. And this makes me think of a guy that I dated in my early 20s. And he's actually one of two fellas I dated, two serious relationships I had very young, where both of these fellas never, ever ended up getting married. I don't know. I know you're thinking, what did you do? I don't know. Either I was so fantastic that no other woman could ever compete or win the place in their heart, or I turned them off of my entire gender for the rest of their lives. But I remember him telling me, I think we were chatting once, he was probably in his late 30s at the time. I'm friends with all my old boyfriends and all my exes. Well, it just goes to show you, I wasn't the problem. My exes all still call me, so obviously I wasn't the problem. I was asking him if he was seeing anyone, and he said not seriously, but some people I date casually for companionship. And he said, at this point in my life, I've created a really great life for myself. I have great friends and I travel, and he feels his life is in a great spot and it's just the way he planned it. And in order to allow someone in and to have a big place in his life, he said, they would really need to be adding something because it's already great. Somebody else would have to really put a cherry on top of that sundae because otherwise he's just fine the way he is. And I think that attitude is probably one that would be ideal if someone did want a partner, to not need somebody, but really just look forward to sharing the day-to-day with somebody and being part of a team. Number three, I bet you've said at some point in your life that nobody's perfect. But I think when it comes to dating, you have to believe, truly trust that that's the truth, that nobody is perfect. Therefore, nobody that you meet is going to be perfect. I know you're saying I don't expect anybody to be perfect, but there are times that you go on a first date and somebody isn't hitting or ticking all those boxes, and you're like, I don't want to go again because I really don't think that it's going to be anything. They kind of weren't this or that. And when you do that, you're not allowing this person to fix any perceptions, judgments that you may have made correctly or incorrectly, because you were hoping that they would be something on that first date that you weren't reading. Truly embracing the fact that nobody's perfect. You're not perfect, so how are you going to find somebody else who is? You know, people say no to a second date because he had a great personality, but he wasn't tall enough, or she was super sweet and cheerful, kind and very family oriented, but, you know, her figure wasn't everything that he had on his wish list. So these are the situations where I think to myself, well, nobody's perfect. Why don't you get to know them better and see if they have other qualities that help you to overlook things that you think are not ideal or perfect? So knowing, recognizing, and truly believing that nobody is perfect, I think is a good place to be when getting out there dating, because nobody is. Number 4, speaking of those qualities that you're hoping for in a match, this is kind of related, but really, truly being willing to surrender that list is the ideal time to put yourself out there, to go out and meet people hoping to be surprised by somebody fantastic without having a preconceived notion of who they are, what they must be, how they must do this and that, or just not having a list of must-haves, to embrace the experience of going out, having a good time, getting to know people, and figuring out if this is a person whose company you enjoy that you would want to spend even more time with and see where it goes. Most dates of people that I know who are long-term committed couple, their first date does not sound fantastic. Yes, I know that love at first sight happens, some people say, and there's definitely physical attraction that can be palpable on a first date, but a lot of relationships don't start with that. A lot of successful relationships just start with that person was really nice. I really enjoyed their company and I had a good time and enjoyed my own company, and it's really not all that dramatic or fireworks. It was just very pleasant and no reason to not see them again. So if you're open to meeting somebody in that way and leaving the list at home and not even bringing it along in your back of your mind and checking off boxes mentally, that's another sign that perhaps you're ready. And then finally, do you think that when you are ready, that perhaps the universe will send somebody to you, put somebody in your path, or lead you to your soulmate? Well, then you're probably not ready. Because finding a prince or a princess takes kissing a bunch of frogs. You've got to be willing to get to know somebody and not have the preconceived notion that they're on their way to you and you're not going to have to work at it. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there even when you don't want to be out there. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door saying, "You're Prince Charming. I think you were waiting for me. Oh, what are you watching on Netflix?" I've already seen that one. Already, they're not perfect. The point of this one is I'm just saying that you need to be ready to put in the work, to put yourself out there and meet people when you don't feel like heading out on a Friday night with a girlfriend to some class, but there's a great opportunity that you might meet somebody who shares an interest of yours. You got to go do it. If that's your priority, that's what you truly want, to find a partner and connect, you have to put yourself in situations where that opportunity is more likely to happen. Those are a few thoughts I had on figuring out whether or not you're ready to put yourself out there. I didn't want to get into your psychological stuff. I thought it would be more fun here today to talk about some of the practical aspects. You know me, I'm your practical gal. And that's always where I start when I'm looking at a topic or a question. So if you enjoyed it, found it interesting or helpful, then maybe you would want to give the episode a thumbs up like my little mommy is suggesting you should do. I can't argue with her on this one, but I will also ask that you subscribe to the channel and then hit that ring bell so you're notified every time I put up a new episode live. Appreciate you stopping by today, and I'll look forward to the next time. Until then, have a good one.